Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. We have a Q&A episode for you today, and I believe we're just going to crack on. We're going to get straight into the questions, or is there anything that you need to update us on?
We've been chatting for 20 minutes, mate.
We have, mate, yeah.
Yeah, we've been chatting about Finn's mad adventures. We both had weekends away. I was in London with my mum and Sanaya, and Finn was where were you, mate?
On a night out, well, we went to a place called Home on Spalding Moor, right? Tim Stewart messaged me, and he was like, mate, that's literally where my mum and dad live. He lives 2 minutes away. There's fuck all there.
Yeah.
So my mate had booked it because there's these like lodges, and it was all right to be fair. But the one reason the one reason he'd booked this lodge was for the hot tub, and the hot tub didn't work. So they were all fuming, and I was like, it's fucking, just chill out. It's a fucking hot tub. They were
You
fuming.
say, lads, I had a hot tub with Reese and Josh Campbell in Vegas.
Yeah, hot tub in the room.
They broke my Mac.
Yeah. But no, like they were actually fuming about the hot tub, and I was like, well, what were we gonna do? Just sit in the hot tub and chat? Why don't we just sit in the lodge and chat, or go
Mm.
out? Like, so yeah, like that Friday we went into a little town called Pocklington, found this bar, went and played some pool, and it was actually pretty packed in this bar. It was weird. It was like all the locals,
Mm.
but just played some pool, and then Saturday we went out in York. So I trained at York Ultraflex York in the morning. Went into York, got an Nando's, did some shopping at Zara, got a sick fit. I was going to take a photo. Well, I actually took a photo taking the piss out of you. I had my hand in my pocket, taking a photo in the mirror, and then I didn't share it because I didn't want to bully you. But I was going to put like doing my best Reese Fit impression because you put a photo on your story with your hand in your pocket.
I'm getting bullied. Putting my hand in my pocket. What's
It
this
was
about?
like it was just like like you take a photo, but like you were like hand in pocket, as in like I don't know, just I thought you looked like you really proper like being a poser.
Nah, it's because, mate, my hands are getting too big. Like, so it was either have this like big
I
paw.
could tell you felt awkward with the hand. This is what I mean. You thought about it, didn't
Yeah, no, no, mate. I took a photo with the hand just like floating. It just had this like big air
you?
ball.
Big
Yeah,
space.
I gotta hide it. And speaking of which, mate, did you see the jacket that I was wearing?
I saw it, but I didn't properly see it. What was it?
Cole Buxton cropped. It says cropped, but it wasn't. I bought it. I got it. It was like I say expensive. It wasn't for a jacket. It was 400 quid, which is actually cheap for like most jackets. But for Cole Buxton stuff, it's quite expensive. But I didn't want to get it without trying it on because I didn't want like to a crop jacket on me would look stupid if it was like cropped. You know, it would look like I'm just like wearing like a body warmer that just is too short for me. So yeah, I wanted to try it on because I was looking at it and I looked at it when it came out, and annoyingly, it was on the sale, but they did something with the sale, which I think is quite a clever tactic. So it was a 200 quid or like 195 on the sale, but they only had it in size small to like medium. And I was like, what the fuck, man? Because I clicked it, I was like, 190 quid, I'll gamble that and I'll just send it back and get the store credit or whatever, because I know they don't do refunds, I don't think they do. So I was like, yeah, cool, I'll go get it for 190, and they didn't have like 2XL. So I was like, oh, great. And then I didn't want to spend 400 quid without trying it, like, to just to see. So I tried it on, got that. That was good. That was a cool jacket.
And
And
put
then
your
yeah,
hand.
the hand in the finger in the pocket. But the thing is, my hand didn't even fully fit in the
I
pocket.
know that's why it looked weird.
It was fingertips, man.
Oh, that's why I messaged you, didn't I? What did I put? Hand in pocket goes hard.
Yeah,
So I went and I literally went to Zara, and I already had clothes for the weekend.
mm,
But the thing is, my mates seem to have like similar clothes. So like, um, I had like my cream like cargo-y kind of baggy trousers.
yeah.
Um, Two of the lads have got similar like, so I'm not gonna wear them. Like, so I had to buy some different clothes. Um, I was quite happy with my two choices, mate. I got some nice new jeans, bit of a weird print on. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. And then just like a jumper in the biggest size, and it was quite snug. So
Yeah.
fuck what big people actually do.
Yeah. I
Or,
got
like I'll be like a large, and it'll probably go up to 2XL. And then I looked at the large, it looked small, so I was like, I'll just take the XL. And then I realised that that was the biggest size they do. I was like, fucking hell, I'm massive.
Mate, I got mugged off about this t-shirt, So I bought this 3XL Gymshark tee, and mate, I'm wearing that Cole Buxton, not the Cole Buxton jacket that I got, my old one, the flannel one. And it's a pretty wide fit. Like I look like pretty big, like when I'm wearing it. And the dude that I was buying it from in Gymshark didn't train at all. You could tell he like the people that work in Gymshark. Have you ever been to the London Gymshark store? No, they don't. They don't. There's not really anyone that look like they train. Maybe a few, but most of them look like the "Do you even lift?" Like, why are you even here? Like, sort of like, why did you even apply to work here? And I hand him the 3XL, and I go, just this, please, babe. And he goes, like, he looked at me and he was like, oh, do you want a receipt? And I was like, nah, man, I'm good. Like, it was like 30 quid. I was like, I'll be fine. And then he was like, oh, bit of a specific buy. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, you don't see many 3XL Like, it's not for you, is it? And the other people around him, like, they lifted, like, the person to the next to him and the other person lifted. And they, like, looked at him, like, and they looked at me and, like, he was just like, and I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, kind of confused. And he went, 3XL, like, pretty big for you, isn't it? And I was just like, what? And I was just like, I said, no, no. I was like, I just said to her, I was like, no, I said, I'm sure I'll be okay. I said, it might just be a little bit of a bigger fit. And then like the other guys around him were like didn't know what to say. I think they would like almost want to say,
I think because, like people, I think before we started training, 3XL we would deem as for like really overweight.
Overweight, yeah, that's what I think it
We'd
was.
think, oh my god, like
Yeah.
3XL is huge. Like
Yeah.
you, if I didn't train, I'd think you're like an extra large.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's
Like,
what I think it was. He probably looked at me and thought, well, he's not fat, so he's clearly not.
you probably
Yeah,
did.
but like, mate, 3XL, like, what? This is quite a fitted tee. Like, this is not like even that big of an oversized tee. Like, it's a slightly oversized sort of boxier fit.
It's quite nice.
I like it. It was 30 quid. It's really nice. Blue one, dark blue. Like, I thought it was like a leg day sort of tee. Like a.
I'm going to hold off.
Yeah.
I reckon I've probably, fingers crossed, I should be getting some Gymshark freebies in the future. That's not.
Really?
I'm not getting a sponsorship. I'm just hoping Jess buys me loads of stuff. she gets like a massive allowance anyway.
Really?
Mate, it's a joke. Yeah.
Fairs.
I think she said. I don't think she'll mind me saying. Yeah, I don't think she'll mind me saying this. I don't think she fucking listens to this anyway. She put. She's too busy. She put her code up when she first got her code for the Black Friday sale, and I think like within 2 hours she checked and she'd already earned like 400 quid commission in the space of like 2 hours. And then she checked like the next day and it had gone up quite a lot, and it's like fucking hell, like mental. Just fucking from posting reels running around saying what you're eating a day, you sorted.
Let's hope they don't kick her off like they did Yemi.
Yeah.
That'd be bad. Yemi ended up going to Vanquish though, so like from a bodybuilding standpoint, probably a bit of a better one I go for.
Yeah.
But for Jess, I think she like suits Gymshark perfectly. But that's literally like the market audience of like Gymshark go for really nowadays. Yeah.
Right. Question time.
Yeah, sure. Question time, baby.
How many did you get?
I got a fair few.
I got a fair few. I only put mine up about 2 hours ago.
Okay. Oh mate, yeah, I've got like 12, 13.
Okay, you go first then.
You can only have one supplement for the rest of your life. What would you pick?
Creatine.
Really?
Probably. Or caffeine.
No, I wouldn't need caffeine. Not Mega Pump. Imagine unlimited. You haven't. What did you say? Unlimited amount. Imagine doing like 10 scoops of Mega Pump a day, just constantly.
How much do you think you could get away with without just feeling awful?
What Mega Pump? Jacob did 6 scoops before, but he did I think 2 or 3 before the first bit in Amsterdam, and then 3 before the bit where he wasn't even allowed on in Amsterdam. So yes, I think he did 6 scoops, and he felt fine. I literally just kept saying, he was like, another scoop of Mega Pump, and I was like, yeah, it's your final show, bro, just go for it. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'd say creatine or caffeine just because they have the most benefit.
Yeah, I'd say for
Maybe even Supreme Sleep.
Yeah,
because it covers quite a lot. It's not just one ashwagandha or omega. It covers quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd probably say I probably would just go whey because it's easy and it's like.
I don't really class that as a supplement though.
Do you not?
No, I don't really. Like when people say like supplements, I don't think of whey as a supplement.
I do in the way of no way. That's what I just said. I don't class whey as a supplement. No way.
No way. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, if whey is included, I maybe would have to go with that.
Yeah. If there's a way that we could hit our protein without whey,
what way would it
be? Yeah, what way would it be?
So, all right, next question. Let's quick fire through these. Okay. Not because we want to. I just quite like because otherwise we spend like 20 minutes on a question where we just don't need to.
That happened. When I did that Fitex speaking thing. They asked they had 10 questions and they wanted to ask the audience questions. We got through 3 questions. It was painful.
On the Jack KC podcast, we didn't ask any questions that came in. I got quite a lot as well. Sorry. So obviously he did say he was like, "Oh, come on again," and we can. I was like, "Yeah, all right, mate. All right, know your place. I'll invite you."
Yeah, I saw the comment "Can't wait to come on again." We're like, "Oh."
Yeah, I did say to him he's welcome back anytime. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So, what to do if you feel like you've fallen out of love with the process? Love the pod. So, first of all, mate, thank you for loving the pod.
Yeah.
This guy's called. Well, I won't out him because he's fallen out of love with the process, and if we out him, everyone will beat him with a stick.
Do we
So
know him?
you have to love bodybuilding. Um, I don't know him. I'm going to go on his page now. I don't know him personally.
Well, I'd say like it depends on what phase he's been in. If he's gone through a prep or a diet, cool, you should. Like I feel like if you finish a prep or diet, especially naturally, and you're like so up and at it, ready to train after a prep, you like, yeah, I'll be surprised. So, firstly, like take a bit of a step back. Remember why you did it. As cringy as it sounds, really try and actually get back to the roots. Stop going on social media. I'd say stop trying to be succumb to pit like pressure upon what other people are doing, and just do what you want to do. And also like just dropping down training frequency and looking at other areas and just managing fatigue. Like I always say this to clients. There's the amount of times that I'll have clients go, oh yeah, you know, I bet you're always more like motivated and stuff. And I was like, no, like if I'm battered, I'm not wanting to
To be fair,
train.
sorry, mate. This guy is called Romero.Fran1, and he's
Oh
coached by
yeah, yeah, I've heard.
Jacob.
Yeah, yeah.
Coached by Jacob Tipper.
Oh, Jacob,
No, no,
awful.
no. He's literally put like update on. This is 6 days ago. Update on myself. Recently been having a hard time with training, getting a bit frustrated. Me and Jacob have decided that I'm going to train what I feel like training with rep ranges, amount of sets I want, as long as I train hard. Yeah, there you go.
That's literally like to summarize. That's what I was going to say. Like, do what you enjoy. Stop like feeling like you need to do a certain style of training. Sanaya would be actually really good to get into this because she's definitely gone through the sort of ringer where she finished prep. She then left Tom because she wanted a different style of like kind of coaching. Went to Meg. Hated how things were because it was so intense and that wasn't for Sanaya at that moment. Then kind of fell off a little bit, almost stopped training, started because she didn't really like it, started then just like running and stuff, then got back into training, and now her approach to training is she trains when she wants. She does 3 to 5 sessions a week, depending on her routine and schedule. She goes for 1 to 2 runs and she just has a good balance and she's not actively pushing up food, she's not actively dieting, she just holds her body weight, she eats what the fuck she wants within a certain set point, which isn't silly, just like probably at maintenance and maybe some days slight deficit, some days slight surplus, and just chills out and relaxes and she isn't pressured to train. Like today she didn't train. I don't think. No, she didn't, because she had she was with somebody and she was busy, cheating on me. She was seeing a bloke.
Another bloke.
Yeah, she was seeing a bloke.
Who's with someone. Don't tell me who.
So she went out and but like usually if that was a year ago and she was coached by Meg or Tom, she'd be like, oh, Monday's a training day, I've got to train. And she'd go to the gym, resent the session, and then be like, oh well, at least I've trained, but I don't even want to
We've
go.
we've even got better with that.
Mm.
Like, for example, like this weekend, obviously I was away with my mates. Like, I'm gonna train. Like, I was in York, or well, it was like nearish York, so I was like, I'll train at York. Like, I'll train at
Mm.
Ultraflex York. Like, cool, I'm happy to do that. But like, I was literally saying this to a client today. Like, I had like weekends last year, like show weekends, where I had a client at a show Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes those shows are like all day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
especially if you want to be there early for your client, maybe like 9 a.m. Don't get me wrong, I could train before that,
yeah,
but how often do I really like? Do I really want to train at, let's say, 5 6 a.m.? Is the gym going to be open? Like, or am I have to going to go to like a pure gym? Or could I just do maybe 4 sessions that week and just pair my pull and push into an upper and
yeah.
add some of the volume into some of the other sessions? Like, you can make it work. Like, whereas again, like, I'll still say to clients, like, if it's a training day,
Try.
train. Unless there's an issue. Like, I wouldn't just randomly miss a session and go, oh, I just was a bit tired today, or I was a
Yeah.
bit busy with work. It's like, no,
I think
like,
that's the standard though, man. That's because you know what it's like. Like the average person hears that and goes, "Oh, well, I woke up a little bit later, or I had a
no,
bad
I
day
just
at work, and
train.
I'll catch up tomorrow." Like from my off season, my entire off season post prep in 2021 to 2023, I didn't train on Thursday once. I had Thursday as a rest day. No matter what, physio, haircut, that was it. Like, and otherwise just work. Where like recently, when I was in London, I knew I wouldn't be able to train on Friday because we're traveling down. So I was like, cool, I'll train Saturday once I'm home, and then I'll train Thursday before my haircut. And it's a
That's what I
Thursday.
mean. I feel like we've got a lot
Yeah,
better at managing
yeah,
that now.
yeah. But I also think for me, half the reason why I'm allowed to do that is because I'm not training legs. So like push and pull,
Yeah.
I could literally do like I can do my 4 main sessions and 1 arm session whenever the fuck I care, like whenever I have time. Like it's not that hard to fit in. But I do feel like you get into that routine of when you're doing like a push pull legs upper lower, it can be very much like, well, I can't miss a leg day, and if I do a leg day on Sunday, it's then going to impact the next 3 days. I'm doing 4 sessions, and that's again when you can start to sort of resent the process. So I think Jacob's like obviously coaching him perfectly, but he sounds like Jacob's got a good plan. So, but also I think again it's the pressure that people put on themselves. Like, not every single month you're going to be so motivated and so switched on and so at it. Like, I'll have some sessions, some weeks where I'm just like, right, cool, like training sound, but I'm not like in love with it.
I
But
feel like
it's
that's when you probably make the most progress, when you
yeah,
don't obsess over it all being amazing and
yeah,
you just accept that, like, right, cool, let's just make sure that I am, you know, cracking on, not
yeah,
resenting it, but like, especially I think like especially coming out of a diet, or maybe if you've, let's say, got like something else going on in your life, you search for training to be this amazing thing, and like
yeah,
sometimes it's not. Like sometimes it's just going in and getting it done, and
yeah,
sometimes it is amazing, and sometimes it's shit. Like you're gonna have those sessions from time to time. It's part of it. I think the more that you put pressure on every single session being incredible, like it's just not going to happen. Like I'll have clients who, like, I'll literally say to them sometimes, they'll be like, "Oh mate, I had the best week of training," and then next week, "Oh, this has been the best week ever." And I will actually say to them, like, "This is great, but be prepared for some shit ones because you'll have them." Like, and that's okay. Like, because
yeah.
then as soon as if you don't prepare them for that, they
Oh
have
yeah,
a
I always say that. Yeah,
think it's the end of the world. It's like, mate, what do you expect? You're not going to have 10 out of 10 sessions, and not every single session is going to be a massive hit.
yeah. And if you are having 10 out of 10 sessions every single week,
You're not
probably
training hard enough.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
bullshitting yourself. Like you're not. What's it called? Sandbagging.
Yeah, you're sandbagging it and just making every session amazing by being like training at 40% every week.
Yeah, and then you go from 41 to 42% and 42,
Oh,
and you're like, oh, fucking training's amazing, bro.
yeah.
Right. How much money would it take for Finn to willingly lose his natty status? No tax, obviously, bro.
Um, right now, probably quite a lot. Like maybe 500 grand
Really?
for now. Yeah, but ask me again in probably 5 years, and it'll probably be a lot lower. 10 years, it'll be a lot lower.
Yeah, as you get more washed, I think like because like right now, like your sort of attachment within like the industry is probably like what, like coaching like natural physiques and stuff, you know. So like if you were to lose that, it's like
That's what I mean.
almost your demographics like they're not going to immediately switch off, and it doesn't make you a worse coach. But if you're not in the process of like that sort of like
And
coaching,
I'm very excited about natural bodybuilding. Like
yeah,
I enjoy it. Like I really like it. I follow it more than I do enhanced bodybuilding. Like
yeah,
when the Olympia's on, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like, I'd rather watch the WNBF Worlds. And like, I legit mean that. Like,
yeah,
and most people are like, what? Like, but no, seriously. Like, I think it's really cool. And I think there's like, it's only going to get better. Like, there's a lot of
okay.
exciting.
So Finn, be honest. Don't lie to me. You can go to Prague to watch
No,
City
yeah,
of Nine.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I'd go to that.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
mean, like, if I'm going to watch it on a live stream,
Yeah.
I'm probably more interested about watching the WNBF because
So
also I know some of the people there and stuff, which is cool.
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. So what, 500k right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know because it would impact my business quite a lot.
Yeah, like your earning potential, like
Yeah, I don't think everybody would just like it wouldn't be like, oh, everybody
no.
hates me and they leave me. But I think it would be like, oh, like this guy's like natural physique coach. I kind of want to go to
Yeah.
somebody who's natural, like,
Yeah.
and understand the process.
Yeah, okay.
Um, Liam Turner has asked, how do you approach intensity/progression in D-volume session?
That depends on the individual. I think devolume sessions make a lot of sense when you're pretty weak. Like, and that sounds harsh. When you're not that strong, I think devolume sessions make a lot of sense. And I think even when you get to a certain level, devolume sessions are cool. Almost having like pump sessions. But I wouldn't, in my opinion, I think you get to a certain point where like when you're really fucking strong, no matter what, you're going to cause a lot of fatigue, even if you were to limit intensity or whatever. And I don't really want to go in and go, oh, let me just hold back. But I'd say like the rule of thumb would be to scale back volume probably anywhere from like 40 to probably 50% less volume. Load wise, like I wouldn't scale back the load, but if you're doing 1 set or 2 sets, I'd probably just like obviously as a result maybe not do your top set if you're getting 3 to 4 reps, maybe just work with an 8 to 12s. And then from like an RAR standpoint, anywhere from maybe like 1 to 2 if you're like let's say, just wanting to be efficient, you could take it to failure if you want, or if you're within a prep and you're like a couple of weeks out and your coach is setting it, maybe like 3 to 4. So I'd only say personally, I deploy devolumes when either somebody loves to fucking train and I know that they're not going to mentally do that well without training. Their food demands need to the point where they have to keep their train day food in and they don't just want to be eating fucking 200 grams of Cocoa Pops and jam and stuff on a rest day, which is not going to be utilised. And I'd also say as well for somebody who's like in a prep where you want to kind of keep that consistency of routine and habit, and you don't just want to get somebody to not move for a couple of days. When in reality, sometimes that's beneficial. But yeah, bit of a long-winded answer there, but it's obviously you know itself, isn't it? It's hard to really give an answer to that.
Yeah, I feel like in recent times I've become a little bit more sort of. I favour a little bit more of like a kind of hybrid approach. So like I'll
Yeah.
say to the client like, right, we're going to do the volume sessions, but you can decide whether or not. So you ultimately, if you train and you deliberately leave 2 to 3 reps in reserve, that in turn is reducing volume.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
not working to the same level that you usually would.
Yeah.
So like even though that's not reducing set volume, you're still reducing total volume. So I'll say to clients like, right, you've got the option. You can either reduce a set from each exercise, take away your set techniques, so they might have like rest pauses, etc. You can take those away, and just train as hard as you like. Yeah. Or you can train, let's say, with pretty much your normal volume and just leave 2 or 3 reps in reserve. Or you can do a hybrid of both. So it might be on your compounds that are really demanding, let's say a deadlift, you've usually got 2 sets, just do one. Yeah, and maybe even then leave 1 or 2 in reserve. Like depends, like you say, how trash they are and stuff. But in essence, like if you just take your foot off the gas a bit, that's all you need to think. Like literally have some easier sessions. That's it. Like it keeps you in the gym, it keeps you in that routine. I generally use them more when it's like people are finding that they're more physically fatigued. If you're mentally fatigued and you're like, oh, fucking just don't want to be in the gym, then don't be in the gym. Take a few days off.
Yeah. I think for like again speaking, I'm going to guess that most people listening to this probably aren't like at the level of strength I am, but like even probably of the previous last few years, more so like mental and like joint fatigue and just general sort of like overall systemic kind of fuckery is what I'd probably suggest. Like it would result in a devolume being almost inefficient when you get to a certain point.
Like you can
Obviously,
tell when you need
yeah,
time off.
yeah.
Like when your
But I think
joints,
it's again it's something that is
like,
way past what most people actually expect. Like
yeah.
most people listening, and again, this is not me being cocky, but it's the truth. I've fucking hinged 340. I've pressed 5 plates on a Smith. I've done stuff that not many people can do. You can push on for a lot longer than you need to. Like I can do all that. You know when you have a client that will like deadlift 4 plates and they're like, "Bro, my back's cooked. I can't walk," and it's like your back probably is pretty like battered, and your hips are going to be tight, and all load is relative. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. Load, like when you're not as strong, 5 plates is 5 plates, but when you get really fucking strong, like you get to a point where the overall load that just goes through your body is like mashed up. I got a message, I think it was actually a question, I think for the Jack Kinsley Cough podcast, but it wasn't for Jack. It was like, as an enhanced lifter, like do you not feel trash constantly? And I'm like, yeah, but you get used to it and your mind, you can push on. You know, the people that are deloading constantly or having set deloads that were popular a year or two ago, I guarantee, and it's no surprise, look at them on stage, they never get in condition. Like, and it's the reason why, because they're mentally just not ready to push themselves. And it's like we've said that before, haven't we? Like, you rarely get to a point where performance starts to take backward steps.
I feel like now as well, like a lot of the stuff that we've almost always preached in terms of like take a
Yeah.
deload when you actually feel like you need it, and like take a devolume if you would prefer, like these kind of things. Like whereas before that was like, no, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Like everything's kind of coming round to what we've always said,
Yeah.
which is funny.
Because I feel like a year, 2, 3 years ago, like I've seen a coach recently that we got on well with, and he had a question box up, and it's nothing against the coach, and I can fully get people can change their opinions and they can change where they're at. But when you go from set deloads, week 5 this, week 6 this, volume escalation, to be like literally on a question box going, no, I don't really plan deloads, I don't think the deloads need to be planned. Again, I get that you can try it, but when you go all in on one side, like it's then a bit, and you come back, it's a bit like, what the fuck? Like,
I think you have got to be adaptive.
yeah,
Like
100% adaptive, but I don't think it should be all in.
we,
I think it should be, let me try it.
yeah,
Not, this is the way to be.
we obviously promote training to failure, but then
Yeah.
also I do think there's points where you don't necessarily have to. Like again,
Mm.
like a devolume or like during a peak week and so on and so forth. Like obviously there's points where you shouldn't be, but then also like as much as we've always been like promoting training to failure, I don't think we've ever been so in on it that we've been like, if you don't train to failure, you'll never make any progress. Like, you know what I mean? We're just like, no, but most people can train harder. Like, that's
Yeah,
it. Like, most people can train harder.
I agree.
Right, next question. Which smartwatch slash fitness tracker can you suggest? I use Apple Watch. I have done for years, and they're sound. I have an Aura Ring as well, but I use the Aura Ring just for like sleep and recovery. I don't really use that for steps and stuff.
Yeah, I'd share the same opinions with Finn. I don't actually have my Apple Watch on. I only really wear it when I diet. Mate, you don't fancy a Whoop band?
I don't know if they're any good. Like,
No.
I've heard that they're decent, but I think the Aura Ring and Apple Watch are also decent. I don't need that much from it. Like, I don't really use my Aura Ring, to be honest. Like, I very, very rarely check my Aura Ring. I'll check it when I might be sort of feeling like I might be getting a bit ill, or if, like, say, I feel like I've had an awesome sleep, I'm like, oh, I want to see what that was. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But like, I don't really view it that much, to be honest.
Still never had a sleep crown.
That's because you're fat.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
go on.
Worst client requests slash weird requests.
Did we have a question like that last time?
Yo, mate, you're one. The client that was like, "Can you speak to my mum, please? Can you call my mum and tell her
Oh,
I'm not getting
yeah.
too lean?"
You remember stuff like that. I forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was weird, bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a client who was dieting, and he wasn't very lean. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't like really fat, but he wasn't very lean. He got pretty lean. We ended up doing a bit of a photo shoot, and he was pretty lean, but he just needed a lot more muscle. And in order to be really lean, he needed more muscle. But yeah, he was dieting. He wasn't on like really low food. Like, I think he was probably on like low 2000s, maybe high like thousands on rest days and low 2000s on training days. I don't think he was doing loads of cardio. Maybe he was doing like 30 minutes, 5 days a week or something. But obviously, for like the normal person, that's a lot. And yeah, I think because his face was coming in a little bit, he was getting a bit leaner. His mum was a bit concerned, so he was like, "Can you talk to my mum?" And I was like, "Mate, you're an adult. Like, you
Yeah.
talk to your mum. Like, my job as a coach is not to talk to your mum. Like, it's your
Mate,
decision. If
definitely
you don't
another
want to do
one
this."
was the heart is the most important body. When you were trying
Yeah,
to make the guy die.
I know, I know. Told him that I want to see what his baseline cardio is before I implement cardio. His baseline cardio was 0. So I was like, okay, right, like that's your baseline. We'll implement some, like we'll discuss it in the next check-in. And then he was like, the heart is the most important muscle. I was like, okay.
Bro, you weren't doing any cardio to begin with. You just wanted
Now
someone
that you've got a coach and I'm saying we'll have a look at it over the first week.
to.
Because I didn't implement, I should have just put like an hour's cardio a day in straight away and been like, hey mate, the
No, but
heart's,
then he'd be like, "Bro, I'm not ready for my rear delts at the end of the session. I'm too tired from cardio."
that's the same guy.
No, mate, I feel like I've been quite lucky. I don't know what it
I've
is.
not had many, like,
No, you know, but
they're two that you've remembered from years ago.
I'm trying to rack my brain. Oh, my first ever client, technically. I told you about it when I was doing my PT qual, and I basically said he was like, "Can I do a check in once a month on a call?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure thing, man." So I called him, and he was like, "Oh, so how much that PT qualification cost you?" And I was like, "Grand and a half." And he was like, "Oh, well, if you ever need any more money, elsewhere, like I'm sure I can pay a little bit more." And I was like, "Oh, what more calls?" And he was like, "Nah, like some motivation, to train harder." And I was like, "Oh, great dudes."
Different
Um,
ways.
yeah, honestly, it was some of the most embarrassing photos I ever took. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
horrible, horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible, but PT call got paid off. No, that didn't happen, but that actually did happen. I remember, like, I was like fucking 19 or 20, so I was like, "Oh yeah, sound great, cool." Yeah, strange. So that was probably my worst, but that was literally like 5, 6 years ago at this point. Um, your one, mate.
Ed Rimmel asked us, totally hypothetical, if you could have your own gym, what would be your must-have pieces?
Oh, good question. We've thought of this before. Like we've literally been saying, like in the next couple of years, this would be something that we'd want.
I
So
feel like we've
hypothetical. Yeah, we've
said
been
it.
saying it for years. Since the origin of the podcast, like because we were training in the shed, which would be cool. Um,
We actually said, didn't we? If we were to start a gym, we would want to call it the Shed, and then the Shed came along.
yeah, which is annoying. Like that, 100% would be the name as well.
Yeah, it would.
Should we just rival JP?
The Shed 2.0. No, but
Yeah,
that I honestly think we would, if we were to start a gym, we would have called it that. Like, if the Shed wasn't a thing, because we
yeah,
used to literally be like, we're training in the Shed,
yeah,
and
100%.
this would be an evolution of that.
Yeah, agreed. And I feel like you can't like there's like the muscle shed down south or whatever. I feel like you can't copy like the shed is like I feel like you couldn't put a word in front of it like
The
you
physique
couldn't
Shed
yeah
doesn't
physique
sound
shed.
very good.
Yeah, no, it just sounds shit. Like there's nothing there that I feel like you could have as like a word before. Like it would literally be we would call it like RPFK shed. Like that's what it would be. It would be very similar. It wouldn't be TBJP fucking whatever, but it would be like we would just call it the shed. So yeah, it's a bit annoying that that came around. So you beat us by a few years, Jordan and James. Thanks. Right, hypothetical bits of kit. Cybex Smith,
Yeah,
like 100%. That's one.
probably get like Nautilus Nitro stuff,
Yeah,
Strive,
yeah,
Jim Lecco,
yeah.
those
I'd
kind of
say
things.
like I think like a gym should be based off like I think there's certain like you know like the I think like Hall of Fame bits of kit. I think like if you were to go through them like body part for body part like machine, like Nautilus Nitro is like probably the best pin loaded stuff out there. 100%, I'd say most people would agree with that. I'd have Nautilus
Yeah,
Nitro.
and like Strive or Prime pin loaded stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
actually,
but
yeah,
I think
maybe not Prime. Some of the Prime pin loaded stuff
yeah,
I'm not a
I'm
huge
not a
fan. I
massive
think
fan.
the
I'd
Strive
have
stuff's good.
yeah, Strive. I'd have Strive and Nautilus Nitro as like the pieces that I have as like the best creme de la creme. I would then have like I'd say when it comes to Cybex stuff, I'd probably choose like the hamstring curl leg extensions, the Smith, a squat press. I probably would say they're like the goats from Cybex, and a Bravo. That would be one. And then I think some as I said, some Strive bits, and then the other bits would just be like little pieces and stuff. Like you'd
Yeah,
have
some
some
old
gym Lecco,
like old Life Fitness bit,
yeah, some old
Na-
life fitness, like
Nautilus bit, like
yeah, yeah, like some Nautilus Explode stuff. Like I
yeah,
don't think there's like I feel like there's not really like one or two pieces. It's like you couldn't choose a that's perfect off just one bit of kit, like
just
one line.
Primal. Just get a Primal sponsorship.
Be a fucking lot cheaper
What a
than
lot of gyms do,
Thailand.
yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Right, plans. I got a question. Ross Wilton, he follows me, and he asked two questions, and they're so generic. Like Ross, I honestly thought they were like a bot. So, have you ever had a nickname, and why was it given? And then plans over Christmas for you both.
I
So
don't
it's
know,
like,
they're not that generic. They're quite good.
okay, have you ever had a nickname? Why
We
was
know
it
your mate. We know your nickname.
Gay Reese? Gay fucking Reese, Ree, up the boy, up the Gay Reese. Oh, Gay Reese.
Why was it given? Because you gay.
Because there was literally two Reeses down the local Broughton Park, and I had a higher pitched voice than the other Reese, so it was Gay Reese. And it was, the way I've said this before, the way that I found out my nickname was Gay Reese was literally a guy on the phone was like, "I'm at the park." I'm like, "Who's with me?" Like, "Oh, Reese. Which Reese? Oh, Gay Reese." I was just like, "What the fuck, bro?" I was literally like, I remember where I was stood. I know exactly. I could take you to the place. I literally looked at him like, what? I was so confused. And then I was like, I'm not gay. And I remember literally the whole day, because like a few other people called me it. It was like my nickname randomly. Like I said this, I lied in bed. I just looked at like, I had a bunk bed. I looked at this top bunk and I
I
was just
looked at my poster of the naked man above me. I thought, how do they know?
and I was just like, am I gay? And I remember thinking, like, do I need to go onto gay porn and see if I like it now? Am I gay? I was like, what the fuck, bro? It's so weird. I was like, for a good 5 minutes, I was like,
You did have a high pitched voice though. It's definitely not as much now. Even when we met, your voice was quite high pitched.
and I sounded like George Mackay.
Yeah. Mine is skinny. Still is really.
Yeah.
Because I was skinny and it rhymes with Finny. And I think my dad called me it maybe first or maybe Bry. My dad, to be fair, my dad always called me Skinny Finny, like even when I was little, and then it kind of just stuck. Like Bry called me Skinny, and then like all my boys,
Yeah,
just
boys.
called me Skinny. Like even now, like obviously I was out at the weekend, they just call me Skinny.
Really?
Yeah.
Fairs. Cool. And then plans over Christmas for you both.
Don't know. Come from a broken home now.
Yeah, true. What are you going to do on Christmas? You got any ideas?
Yeah, I've got ideas, but I'm not going to share them on the podcast.
Oh, why? Is it personal? Is it?
Well, yeah, like it's not 100% yet, so I'm not going to be like, I'm doing this. Like, I don't know for sure. Like, it's a bit of it's a weird year, isn't it? Because obviously, like usually, it's like right, we all go to my sister's because
Yeah.
she's got the kids, and my mum and dad were together, and obviously now mum and dad aren't together. I was not with Shannon, so it's like it's just a bit of a
Yeah,
weird.
that's actually now I get that. That's a bit strange. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like yeah, it's a bit of a strange Christmas, but I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? Like you could easily be like, oh, Christmas isn't going to be the same. It's a fucking day. It's one day. Chill out. Like do what you want to do. That's what I'm kind of looking at doing. Like just what I want to do.
Yeah. Cool. Fair enough.
Watch
I'm
porn.
going to Norfolk as usual. Sanaya's going home because Sanaya's dad's health isn't the best, so she was like, basically, I don't know how many Christmases he's gonna have left. So she said that to me, and she was like, "Do you mind if I like spend Christmas with my dad?" And I was like, "Sound, go ahead, like I don't care." So she's coming on the 21st, and then she's going back on the 24th, like pretty late in the day or whatever, which is cool. So it'll be the first Christmas that I'm sure with my mum for a long time. And I did say to her like, if it wasn't when I was in Norfolk, I probably would come along, but it's like it would literally be like travelling back and
Yeah.
across and all that sort of stuff.
I bet your mum is absolutely buzzing.
Oh, I bet she's well happy. Yeah, she's like, yes, no, because she can just like say, "Oh, do you want to watch this together?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sound," like that sort of stuff.
She'll love that.
Yeah, so no, Abs is happy, and obviously Bean's staying with me and Mum. So we've got Bean and Bear. So Bear is meeting Bean tomorrow. So they're gonna
I need to get that on camera.
yeah,
That could be
yeah.
that could be a YouTube video in itself.
Either A mauls Bean or B shags Bean. No in between.
Or maybe Bean scares Bear and mauls Bear.
Nah, mate. Bean is terrified of everyone, so Bean would be yeah, not
Fucked.
nice. So yeah, those are the two questions from Ross. Thanks, Ross.
Mikey, my client Mikey Jamros, asked most steps you've ever done in one day.
28,500 in Spain, but I've got so close to that so many times.
Paul.
I'll tell the story quick. Basically, I was in Spain with one of my exes.
All
Yeah,
right, which one? The only one.
the only one, the only ex I've ever
It
had.
was Sophie, yeah.
Yeah, it was only my only other girlfriend I've ever had. And basically, the dad. I'm not gonna. The dad was. He was like this.
I
Is
remember you saying the dad was a bit of a nightmare.
yeah, he was sound, but he was sound with me, but he was just a bit weird in the family. Like nothing bad about him. He was really nice to me. Like the mum wasn't, but the dad was. So like, it was really odd. And basically, he was just like, "Oh yeah, there's a gym, just walkable distance. Like just walk down there." So I've had like my meal. We went out to the. And I was like, "I call it a walk," and he was like, "Just keep walking. You can't miss it." And this was before, like, you could just search on your phone. Like, it was in, like, you could, but it was in Spain and it was, like, random. And I couldn't really search gym or whatever. And I just kept walking. And I walked for, like, an hour and a half in the same direction. And I got to the gym and I was like, Jesus Christ, I need the pre-workout meal. So I, like, got to the gym, trained, I ate again. I think I bought some food there. And the guy didn't speak a word of English. And then I walked back and I was like, and I realised I've got to walk back. And there's no Ubers, nothing like that. So I was like, I ended up walking for like, I got back at like 8 p.m. And I think they'd already gone out for food or they were ready to go out and they were like, where you been? I'm like, at the gym. You said it was a 10-minute walk. It was an hour and a half. Like, I literally was like, what the fuck? And yeah, so I rented a bike. But I remember doing that. And the 28,000 steps wasn't like in a day. Like when I was in New York last year, I think we did like 26,000 like back-to-back days. That was like we started at 8 a.m. and finished at 9 p.m. That was like 14,000 steps one way, 14,000 steps the way back, but I was wrecked. I didn't even go out. I remember I literally went home and slept. I was ruined. It was awful.
I think I can't remember doing more, but I'm pretty sure. Well, from what I remember, 36,000 was the most that I did in Dublin. Because we had 2 days in Dublin, and we were like, right, let's just fucking do as much as we can. It was quite good to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was literally like you say, like that was actually the first day I think where our flight was really early. So like walking around the airport from like 6 a.m. Then the flight's only like an hour, not even that, and then you're there all day. So like you're there from 8 a.m. until like 8 p.m. pretty much just walking around. We couldn't get in the hotel until like 3, so obviously we'd put our stuff away and then just had to be walking around. So yeah, that was quite good to be fair. Yeah, 36,000 I think is the most.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at like the first day in New York was like very, very busy because I remember like distinctively like we got there and it was like, oh well, we went to like what's we call it, the park, the Central Park. Unless you've been there, it's fucking massive. Like it's not just oh yeah, sound like let's walk around the park. Like we walked through half of it and we've been walking for like an hour. Like to go from the top to the bottom, I imagine it would honestly take an hour and a half, like just to walk, like because it's like curvy and all that sort of shit. But even straight, like it takes so long. And then like, I remember like because we were there, like I feel like the worst is when you have that mindset of like, oh well, we're away, you want to enjoy it, so you don't want to like not walk. But it's pretty rough. So yeah, I'm
I
trying
like walking on those like city breaks. You should walk as much as you can.
how I do. Like when we were in Vegas, bro, we were racking up like 20k steps minimum. Like
Yeah.
I find it like one of those sort of things that like I find when people put oh my god I've walked so much, like you're away, like you should
Yeah,
walk.
you should. Yeah. The only thing is, I find if you're training on that holiday, it does impact your training.
Mm.
Like if you're training legs and you've done like 2 days back to back of 35k steps, like it's not good. But if you're having it as like a bit of a deload, like yeah, your legs will be a bit tired, but I think it's a nice way to spend like your deload is on a trip away.
Yeah, I agree. Dog food is new protein source. I'd fucking rather not, mate. Same guy. At what point do you stop the exercise as joint pain is too excessive during the set? Have you ever thought this, bro? Like, have you ever thought, like, what
I
point
think
do I stop? You know?
no, I think you should just like you'll know like your
Yeah.
body would force you to stop anyway, or you just don't do that exercise. Like for example, like sometimes on a dip for me, like my elbows or my shoulders just don't feel good. So
Yeah.
like when I'm warming up, I'll be able to tell, or I'll do a top set and I'll just not be able to like get the most out of it, and I'll finish the set and I'm in more pain through my joints than
Mm.
feeling like I got a good stimulus. So I'm like, okay, I probably shouldn't do that and maybe find another press. Like that's it really. Like if the joint pain is that excessive that you're thinking I'm gonna have to stop because of my joints, you should have already stopped.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it. Like you shouldn't be feeling your movements like that.
Coming from, like, I think some, like, both of us that have had, like, multiple little niggles and injuries, like, as you said, you will get to a point where the pain gets so excessive that you can't put force through the muscle because it will, like, cut off. Like, when my, like, patella tendonitis was so bad,
Just the
I
pain goes straight there. You go to one eccentric and it's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I could not even contract my quad at the top. It was that painful. So, like, if you can still contract and get a good set, it's probably not that bad. Like, and it could be worse. Which, if you, and that's not to say keep getting it, it'll get worse. But like, that's probably when it's like, right, go to a physio, get some shockwave therapy
I
or
just say
some type of
don't push
mobility.
through unnecessary pain.
Yeah,
Like
like, you'll know, like 7 out of 8 out of 10. Like, if you are like, this is excruciating pain. I remember I'd like go in and when we were training, lockdown leg press wise, and I would literally, like, after every warm up set be like, my leg was in bits and it was so painful. But the only set it wouldn't hurt was for the set because I get myself so amped up.
yeah,
And looking back, I'm like, I'm being stupid. The reason why I had to take 10 weeks out of leg training is because I was just pushing on being stupid. But like, again, I find that sort of perception is hard to find because I say that and people go, "Oh yeah, I'm like that. It's excruciating." When in reality, it's 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. You're just feeling it. And if you're going into a set expecting to find pain, you will find it if you've got a niggle,
yeah.
100%. It's like, when you get a cut on your arm, you don't see it. It doesn't hurt. You see it and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm bleeding," and then
So
yeah.
bad. Yeah.
So yeah. Who's got the biggest thing coming? Spelled Cumming.
Who said that?
Tyler Rack.
I've got pretty big things coming.
Okay, fair enough. I've just got one big thing coming, so I've got a big load of coming. I've got a big load. I've got a big load coming.
Um, what's Bean's cycle?
4 packs of only salmon food. She doesn't eat anything, like, she doesn't eat cat food that's chicken or beef. She only eats the salmon ones, and so she likes fish. But the problem is,
Good diet.
yeah,
What's
honestly,
he been
it's, mate,
training?
it's expensive, bro. Expensive fat salmon diet. So she only likes fish, and the problem is she doesn't know how to clean her bottom properly yet. So her mouth stinks of fish, and her bottom stinks of shit. So she's a bit of a smelly cat. Like, she anywhere other than either end, she's quite nice to have on you. But if she puts her bottom in your face, and you're like, oh, great, sound, thank you, and then you'll spin around, and you're like, oh, even potentially even worse, fish, great. So yeah, how much time do you actually spend watching bodybuilding content outside of coaching? Fuck all, really. Like,
Yeah, I'd say like actual bodybuilding content in the sense of, for
training.
example, like training videos, really not a lot, but like educational content,
Yeah,
bits and bobs, throughout the day when I'm making a meal or if I'm on my drive to the gym, like I'll have stuff on, but rarely do I like watch a training video.
yeah, I agree. I think training videos. I can't remember the last time I watched a training video. Probably maybe like a JP one a year ago or whatever. Like, when I'm prepping, I quite like the thought. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Maybe
you need that extra bit of a push sometimes.
I
It's
don't
just
even know if it's the push. I just think it's like that sort of like locked in
yeah,
mindset. I think as well, like, PDs probably play a role where I'm just like, yeah, fucking lifting weights, bro, like, and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, but like, yeah, in an off season, I'm not watching a training clip before or training session before a session or whatever. Um, I watch football and stuff like that. Probably gaming videos more than fucking anything about bodybuilding.
gay
But
videos.
like, from an education, what'd you say?
Gay videos, you say, yeah?
Gay videos, yeah, gay videos. Reese Gay. That's my name. Or no, Jacob.
On
I'm saying
Instagram.
it's deep in the podcast. Jacob said on the last video, Sam cut it out. It was like Reese fit, and then it's obviously Reese fat, and then he was like Reese fag, and I was like, Jacob, you can't say that word in 2024, mate. And he was like, well, he looked at me, he's like, Oh yeah, probably can't.
You can have Reese Gay. You ought to just for one day change your Instagram name to just Reese Gay.
No, so
Like,
then someone else will change it to Reese Fit, and I'll lose my account.
do it for a second and screenshot it.
Reese
Do it
Gay.
for a second, screenshot it, and just put like related to this week's podcast.
This week's podcast. Reese Gay. Great. Yeah, that's that. Not a lot to be fair, mate. Right, have you out of questions? I think I might have like one or two more.
I've got a few more.
So,
Shay asked, train to failure and make 3/4 of gains, or train with 3 RIR and make 100% for the rest of your life.
it's a good question because the reason why like we obviously train is to get a better physique, but I also like training, and I feel like 3 RIR would be like I don't know. It just wouldn't be. Wouldn't be
I
that
feel
hard.
like if I was to train with 3 RIR, I'd probably do like slightly higher rep work, so I can still feel like I'm training pretty hard. Because like if you do 3 RIR on like a 8 repper or well
Yeah.
a 5 repper, like it feels like you've not even done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do like higher rep work, and I mean I guess I would probably just do 3 RIR. I'd just fucking suck it up and be like, right, I'm just gonna 3 RIR is still pretty challenging. You know what I mean? Especially if you're doing like a 15 repper and you do 12 instead of 15. Like you're still getting some pretty difficult reps. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just doing a shit set.
And I guess like I'm probably okay enough strength wise to be like even if I do 3 hour out, I'm still doing like 4 plates for like 8 to 10 on a Smith. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that's sound. You know what I mean? Like it's still okay. Like if I'm hinging, I've done what 300 for 9, so I'm doing 300 for 6. Yeah, that's all right. Like you know,
I'm gonna grow.
yeah. No, but I want to go 100%, aren't I?
No. In real life, you would grow 0% doing that.
Yeah. It's only you only grow if you
Go
grow
backwards,
towards
actually.
failure. And then speaking upon this, we've got a good question from Chris underscore LNF or INF, depending on if it's capital. Thoughts on training with RAR versus training to failure? Oh, we need to do a whole separate podcast on this. What's your thoughts, mate? You've been doing some really gay MP fucking Myo rep shite, haven't you?
Say that.
Now, I'm allowed to say it's late in the podcast, bro. I'm allowed. It's 40 minutes. I'm allowed to say this sort of stuff now. This is like the weird time of the podcast where we're allowed to say.
Basically, it's just a rest pause, mate. But it's just uh, instead of saying rest pause or double rest pause or triple rest pause, I just log it with the number.
You know, I trained with Lewis today, and Lewis has made some like mental progress. He's still 19. He does a rest pause, high incline Smith as his first press on his second set, and he said to me what he's doing because I've been saying to him like you're heavy and fat enough now to get away with like properly pushing yourself, and like he was doing 2.5 plates and 2 plates, and he was like, I do a rest pause on the second set, and I laughed. I was like, sick, like fair play, bro. And like he's got 2 sets programmed, but he was like, yeah, I get on with it. I was like, does it impact the rest of the session? He was like, no, and I was like, crack on, bro, like do it.
Yeah, I do like rest pauses on not a lot, but like a good amount of my stuff. Like especially like slide delts, chest, like flies, things like that. Arms, like hamstring curls, calves. Like I do them on quite a lot of stuff like that. But that wasn't the question anyway. It was just about training to failure versus reps in reserve. We've said like I would rather train to failure most of the time, pretty much all the time on most things. I think there's a time and a place to not go to failure. You know, whether it be a devolume week or whether it be a deload style kind of training week still, or whether it be within a prep, towards the back end. Like there's definitely times where you don't need to be training to true failure. It's not going to be beneficial. But like you've just said, if you've got somebody who is peak off season, eating a lot of food, recovering really well, if anything, you just think, what can I get away with? And most of the time, that's train to failure. Do as much volume as you can so that it doesn't impact the next session on that body part.
Yeah, I agree. I think you've got a spot on there. To be fair, like, and also just most important thing, do whatever the fuck you want, bro. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
No, literally, do whatever you want. Right, you go, mate.
It's not really a question, but Brandon Fitness put raisins over dates. Sorry, really good question that I know. So yeah, I'm going to unfollow him. I don't like him now.
Is he your client or not?
He's Josh's client. He's just finished his pre-prep. I was going to say he looks really good, but I don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
So next question. We'll move on from that.
He's a teenager, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a dickhead as well now.
Yeah, he's a twat. Okay. Josh put up a story being like going to be really good. Like this was maybe a month or two ago, 2 months ago, and I was just like commented like dropping Will Holmes into all the shows. Sorry, And he was like, "Don't please," and I'm like, "Yeah, I might do." Like, Will's just gonna stay stage lead now, like for the next like year, and just randomly, I'm just gonna say to him, "Hey mate, you
I
fancy
never.
competing?"
Yeah, just
Like,
random.
he's like, mate, honestly, he's a joke. I dropped his food today after telling him I'm not going to make any changes. Like, I said to him, this is the lowest your food's going to go, highest your cardio is going to go. And I looked at him and he was like saying he'd feeling pretty fresh. So I was like, let's push on a bit more. Sorry, bro. And he was like, yeah, bro, let's push on. And I was like, you're 17, pretty much like very close to stage condition. Another couple kilos and he'd be peeled, like legit inside out. And he's like, it's the 9th of December. And he's like, yeah, bro, let's fucking go. And I was like, sound cool.
Yeah, good
That's
on.
nice to see. Right. Have I got? Okay. Is it weird or unusual to have some sort of emotional connection to a gym when switching to a new, I'm going to guess, gym?
Hmm? What do you mean?
Like, is it weird or unusual to have some sort of emotional connection to a gym?
No, it's somewhere where you probably spend a lot of time. There's probably people there that you care about. You're going to have an emotional connection to probably most gyms that you train out of if you train there regularly. So no, I don't think that's weird at all.
No, I agree. Like, if I was to go back and train in the gym that I trained out of, like Little Leisure Centre, which has actually been fucking like massively updated now. It looks actually pretty good. They've got it like all kitted out inside. But if I was to go there again and train out of that gym, I can guarantee, like, and it was the same, exact same setup, same vibes. I'd be like, oh my god! Like, when I go back to Ultraflex Leeds, whenever I've gone there, the kit is nowhere near as good as a normal Ultraflex. But I just love the fucking gym because it's like this is a gym that I properly learned how to train.
Yeah.
You know, and you're always going to have that sort of connection. So, like, yeah, it's one of those sort of things. Like, it's not weird or unusual. Like, as much as a gym is four walls, like making a box pretty much, and kit inside, the vibes, the lighting, the people, the memories, all that sort of stuff. Like, if we were to randomly have the shed, like we didn't, like the our shed, not the gym shed, because fucking that's annoying. We love that name one day. But if we were to have the shed, the one that we were training out of, the same setup, and we would just do a one-off session there, we'd be like, what the fuck, man? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be proper cool. We'd get pissed off again, and we'd be like, fuck, this was just nostalgia. Yeah, like imagine trying to set up the
Leg press again. I'll be
yeah,
like,
oh yeah, going into the garden and like grabbing the fucking like all the sandbags and shit. Yeah, like we it's one of those sort of things. Of course, you can have a connection. It's because you give a fuck. You apply yourself and you train. So yeah, I fully get it.
last question from me.
Down.
So Sam Massey has asked, do you think you would be as successful coaches if you never had any interest in competing?
Uh, hmm.
No.
Yeah, no. I think
I think
it's hard to be able.
you've
Yeah,
got to walk the walk to an extent if you want to be successful within bodybuilding coaching. Like I think to be fair, I think I could be probably more successful because I wouldn't be a bodybuilding coach. I'd be a lifestyle coach. And I'd just be don't get me wrong, like there's nothing wrong with people that do this, but like I'd just be like posting like clickbait reels every day
yeah,
about just like how to track macros and things like that. Like and I'd just like we've said, stay pretty lean year round and just post reels all the time. And like I probably would be I'm not being arrogant, but I think I'd probably be okay still. I think I'd still be successful enough.
yeah.
It'd just be a different clientele. It'd be a different
If
kind
you
of
have, if you have like, let's say, an okay physique, mid physique, but like okay, good amount of muscle, decent amount of muscle, like less you 5 years ago. That's like the physique, and you're not ugly. You can make a social media presence by just spamming reels, like 100%. There's a dude, and
yeah.
like
If you're just outgoing as well, like
yeah, there's a
that'd go
dude.
over the top.
I encourage you to watch some of his content, and this is nothing against him because I actually remember him from Ultraflex Leeds, and his name's GeoFit. And I followed him for we followed each other. He's asked me a few questions. He seems like a really nice guy, but his content genuinely is him training topless. He has a slightly questionable. He has your haircut beforehand, where it's like pushed down like a fringe, and he literally his content is, you want juicy arms? Follow this session, and he'll do a curl topless, and he's like, preach a curl, 3 sets, 12 reps, tricep extension, 2 sets, 10 reps, or 3 sets, 12, and it's like the same, and he's just doing a movement, over extension, 3 sets, 10 reps, and that's all it is, and he just does it for every body part, and some will blow up because he looks okay, but he's not a bodybuilder. He is a bodybuilder. He's not like an amazing bodybuilder, and he's now living in fucking Dubai. Like, and he does the whole like Black Friday like deals. I don't even know him. I don't think he's earning like stupid amounts. He might be, but if he is, fair play. I wish he is. But like he's made a career off like objectively pretty mediocre content, and I think he'd admit that. He would go, "My content is pretty naff."
I feel
But
like we could like maybe harder for you because it's more bodybuilding and you're really fat. For me, like at the minute, like, I could probably do it.
yeah.
I might go to Pure Gym back in Loughborough and do it. 3 sets, 10 reps.
Literally, he just looks like Amber, and he's just like, and he says it like really monotone, and it's like the reels. I think they get more comments because like maybe of his haircut, and he's got some like tattoos that are like butterflies, which are quite cool. I like his tattoos, but he doesn't look like he looks a tiny bit out there, and he trains like. He just puts up shit training clips of like him doing curls with no intensity, and he knows he's doing that. And then he'll get some comments, and most of the comments are like, some are like, "Oh, sick, bro, saved," and the others are like, "Why the fuck you following this program? This ain't gonna grow any muscle." And I feel like that then kind of creates discourse between people, and then that just does well for algorithms. And again, like he'll do, I saw him doing like some Black Friday deal. If he's making money off that, fair fucking play to him, because he would know if he was to say, "Oh, if I say, hey, bro, what do you reckon your content's like?" He'd be like, "Hey, shit, mate," but if it does well, sound crack on.
Have
So,
you got any more questions?
No, those are my questions, mate.
Right, we've got 5 minutes. I just had one come through.
Okay.
Butcher's Wet Dream. You both go head to head on Come Dine With Me. What you cooking and who wins?
Oh, mate, my chips that I make, the potatoes, you know, I made you. That was a good meal.
It was. So what, you're just making me chips, yeah?
I make, I'm going to be honest, my repertoire of meals is minimal. I think, like, my burgers and chips, I felt like I made you a good meal, mate, and you were impressed with that meal. Like,
Yeah,
the only meals you've ever made me are when we were making eggs together, and you would like split the egg whites up and be like, "Oh, that should be enough for you." We do half and half, and that wasn't the best. Like, so based off what you've made for me and what I've made for you, my meal wins. But what would you make? What's your best meal that you'd be able to chef up?
cream of rice and oats, it's fucking class. But like, I wouldn't do that. But at the minute, it's class. I would probably make something like. To be fair, this is just based off what I like, so you wouldn't really like this. But I'd probably make some like garlic mushrooms as like a starter. But you wouldn't like that. So like, let me think of some. Yeah, I'm not actually. Fuck it. I'm not going to do what you'd like. I'm going to just do what I would do. If I was to make somebody a really nice 3-course meal, somebody who I don't know what they like, and it's just like they like everything, I would do some form of like garlic mushrooms with like bruschetta. Oh, that'd be nice. And then I would probably make.
I like bruschetta. Bruschetta's nice.
Yeah. I'd probably do the main as steak with like sweet potato fries, a nice little salad as well. I'd probably do it with like a Diane sauce.
What's a Diane sauce? What's
It's
that?
like a creamy mushroom sauce. It's good.
Okay.
And then for dessert, I would make a lemon cheesecake.
Okay. First, I would not be able to compete with that. I would make.
Oh mate, I can't do any of that. It's just what I'd do. I'm just thinking if I was good at cooking.
What? No, but bro, you can't just say.
No, I'm joking. I could do the first two. I could do them all, like, but I'd
Yeah.
struggle. I'd have to fucking look up how to do it.
Yeah. Well, mate, did you see what Sanaya made yesterday on her story?
No.
She made like this cookie, like you know, like Cookie Box Co. That she basically copied what they do, but like made it, and she's got like half Oreo, half Malteser, and she wants to go down like and do like a bit of a side hustle of like like selling like non-total like fat slag food, but like kind of like the in between. I'm kind of feeling like a bit of a slut today, but I'm not going to be a full slut. Like that's what she kind of wants to go down the side of like not like a business venture massively, but just having it on the side of like she's gonna make a bit of like a bakery like dessert food or whatever because she makes really really good food. Like anyone that's ever tried her food and she's like mastered what she's done. So she was just trying a few new things recently, and yeah, like she made this cookie slab cake pie thing, and like she does it for like her girls at the workplaces that she does, and they always do. Like she was selling cookies for the Fitex thing, and she sold a fair few. So I think Sanai would help the dessert. I would make my burgers and fries. So nice.
Let help. You've got to do it on your own.
Oh, so I know, but I wouldn't. You can't make a lemon cheesecake, so I can even say that.
I definitely could.
No, mate, you can't. So have you ever made a lemon
Yeah,
cheesecake?
mate. I used to make cheese. Well, I did food tech at school, and I made cheesecakes, and they were banging.
You did food tech, mate, and you went to uni. How the fuck was it? Just an easy A level?
No, mate. No, at school, not at college.
Oh,
I
okay,
really,
cool.
I proper liked it. Like, I enjoyed cooking back in the day. I still would now if I had the time. Like, if I let's say worked a 9 till 5,
Yeah,
and I wasn't really into, even if I was into bodybuilding, I'd like if I had time in the evening to make really nice foods, I would. I
yeah.
just don't have the time.
Sanaya, mate, like literally today, she has cooked. Like she cooks like a lot, and she says she loves it. And like I honestly like, even if I had the time, I don't get enjoyment. I almost find food an inconvenience. But I think that bodybuilding does skew that.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't remember. Like I remember being like 15, and if I was going out for someone's birthday, I'd be like, "Oh, excited to go to Frankie and Benny's or something like that." But now I'm like, if I'm eating a meal, I'm like almost eating it just to eat the meal. I don't get enjoyment out of cooking. Like, I don't ever look at my food and go, "Oh," but I almost like just get it down to get it down. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, if
Really,
Sanaa's,
that's why I feel like that.
yeah, I'm really fat, mate.
When you get lean again, you'll be like, I love cooking and I love
Not good.
taking my time and
No, man. Like I remember in prep for Jacob, he was cooking Phoebe some like bits and bobs, and Conrad said he'd cook for like Olivia, and he was like, "Oh, they both were like, I've get a lot of enjoyment out of cooking for others," and I'm like, I could not imagine anything worse. Like you know, like, oh, I enjoy this food that I can't have that I'm making. I
I
just,
honestly think that's because we're busy. I
yeah,
think if you had more free time, you would do nice things like that. Like
yeah,
that's one thing that I do get annoyed at myself about, and like I don't like using being busy as an excuse. But like,
mm,
I legit, I cannot spend, let's say, oh, I'm going to make a cheesecake that's going to take me an hour, and then I've got to make sure that it's like right, and I've got to go and check it, or like whatever you. A cheesecake's different because you put it in the fridge, but unless it's a baked cheesecake, which I have made before, but you get the gist. Like because we'd be like, well, I've got clients to be getting back to. Like, my clients are waiting. I need to get back to my messages. I'm
yeah.
fucking sat making it. I'm stood up whisking up this cheesecake. In my head, I'd literally be like, I need to get back to my clients. I need to get back to
Yeah.
my clients. That's so bad though, because like that's my head almost all the time. To be fair,
That sounds
like
like
even
a
now.
problem, mate. You sure you want some counselling? You want some therapy?
Well, mate, it's 7 minutes past 9, and I've still got. I want to get back to some of my client messages. So can we fuck off, all right?
How many WhatsApps you got right now, bro? 1v1 WhatsApps.
22
Oh,
chats.
24. Did you, bro?
Well done. You're not getting back to more than me.
Yeah. Oh, mate, no chance, no chance. I'm
They're
signed
from,
up.
they're from 2 days ago as well.
Yeah, 4 days ago, bro. At this point, mate, I'm gonna copy what your you know the guy that came to me from one of your guys, like,
Yeah, mate. When you sent me that, my
yeah.
heart dropped,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then I listened to it again. And I was like, that is so. Basically, guys, listening to the podcast. I'll say it anyway. Reese sent me a voice note. It was like 10 seconds, and it was forwarded from like one of his new clients, and he said something like, "Oh yeah, like I was coached by. I don't want to drop him in it, but I was coached by one of Finn's guys. I used to be." And then he said like, I wasn't really happy with this or this,
Mm.
and like when I listened to it first, I thought he said, I don't want to drop him in it, but I was coached by Finn. I
Yeah,
wasn't happy with this and this, and I literally listened to it again, and my heart dropped. I was like, and then I sent you. I put, "That's not my fucking coaching." I put,
yeah.
"I know that's not about me." And then I listened to it again, and he said, "I was coached by one of Finn's guys." And I messaged you again. I was like, "He said it was one of my clients, not me." Like I was literally like, "That's not me." But it's crazy that, isn't it? Like I found it quite funny. I was like, "I know for a fact that's not about me
Yeah,
because
yeah.
my service is great."
No, the dude it mentioned, well, I won't say his surname because again, but it's Dan. He's a young lad. I coached him for a couple of weeks, and he messaged me. He checks in on Tuesdays, and he messaged me on Tuesday last week. I can't remember what I was doing Tuesday, but who was I training somewhere different or whatever, or was I training with somebody? I can't remember entirely, but basically I left a little bit earlier and I didn't get back to his check-in. Usually his check-in moved back to him by midday, and I got his check-in done at like 7 p.m. I think it was just before we did the podcast last week, and I literally sent him a message, sent him a voice note, being like, "Hey mate, yeah, I'll get back to you. Like, I'll always get back to you as fast as I can. It'll always be on Tuesday." And funnily enough, because he was the last check-in I did, I actually forgot to send him the check-in link till like I woke up and I sent it over at like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something the following day. And it was like I messaged him, I sent him a voice and be like, "Mate, I'm so sorry. As much as I said last night I'd get you the check-in, literally look at the time on my laptop. It is the day of the check-in. I just for some reason didn't send you the link. It was I can't remember when it was, but it was last week." And he like sent me a message saying, "Mate, like don't worry about it. Like you did the check-in yesterday. Even this would be the fastest reply I think I'd ever get. Like my previous coach wouldn't get back to me for days." And I was like, "What? Like, what's that about?"
It's crazy,
And
especially like you
yeah,
say when they're not got many clients and stuff.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, I remember like when I had like let's say a handful of clients, like
mm,
mate, I'd be doing like I remember the times where I'd be doing like 30-minute Loom videos because I like didn't have anything else to do. So I was just trying to like give them more and more and more of my time. Like
Yeah.
I'd say like we can have weekly calls and like I'd
Yeah.
train with clients more because I had more time. Like that's what you should be doing when you're a up and
You
coming
shouldn't
coach.
be thinking as an ease to like, oh, I'm
How many can I
making.
get in? Like
Yeah, like let's say you got, I don't know, 10, 20 clients and you're making anywhere from 600 quid to like 2 grand, depending on how much you charge. Jesus Christ, fair play. If you're making a lot of like 10, 20 clients. But like, if you have that many clients and you're like just thinking, oh, sick, it's just a bit of side money, I don't need to actually be that good, you'll be shit and you'll always stay at like a minimum wage sort of like level of coaching. Like,
I don't think I ever thought how like oh how many clients have I got or anything like that when I first started. I think I
yeah.
was literally just like excited to coach anyone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you were just like passionate to help people, and like I remember like if someone even put something on a check-in, I'd literally be like going into detail of everything. And
Yeah.
I gave more of a fuck back then, making everyone have like a 10, not a 10 out of 10 experience like I do now, but it was almost like I needed every transformation to bang. So every sign up, like I've said this before, when you have 5 clients, you need 5 transformations that are fucking great, or 5 testimonials that are good, or 5 people that will share you. Now, let's say for example, I don't know, I'd probably say I average an application a day, or like in the busier months more, in the less busy maybe less. So let's say I get 30 to 40 inquiries a month, maybe 20 to 40. If I end up having a really like, if I have of those, let's say 40, let's say inquiries, if 10 to 20 sign up and only 5 of them bang and do really well, sound cool. I'm gonna keep getting more clients. If I was to have like, let's say 1 or 2, it's a little bit less, but like I don't need 5 out of 5 because I'll get more because, and then people will drop off and stuff like that, but I'll get more people come on. And I think nowadays people just view it and think, oh yeah, cool, I can act like I don't need everyone to be perfect. Where I'd like double message people if they didn't check, if they checked in 1 minute late, I'd be like, hey mate, is everything okay? Like giving them a heads up, hope you had a good week, man. Speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah, or you'd ring them and stuff
Yeah,
like yeah.
exactly. So give a fuck, guys. Please give a fuck, especially if you've got the time to. And if you don't have the time to, then you need to probably reassess. And it's the reason why I don't know. I think a lot of times people get to that level of like, I think coaching you get to almost like a skill cap level. What are you doing that for? Oh, Sam.
Give you some balloons, mate.
You get to like a skill cap level, and it's like people almost peak and they think, oh yeah, this is just my level of coaching, and it's like no, you can break past it, but you just need to apply yourself more.
Yeah.
So yeah, all good, right? Sound. This has dragged on for longer than I thought it would do.
Yeah, sure. I thought you won't shut up.
Soz,
Sorry.
sorry. Hope everyone's enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Sound. Bye. Peace.